If Voltaire's nightmare is Europa Universalis with ray tracing enabled, Voltaire's new nightmare is that only in 8K with like maxed out ultra settings. Y'all seem to really enjoy the previous video on the original mod, so I think that you will really like this one. Nations that would be one province minors in vanilla EU4 are 6, 7, 8, or even more provinces in this mod, showing just how truly zoomed in the scale really is. I had a lot of fun making the video and I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, please make sure you leave a like on it. Consider clicking the join button below the video to get early access to everything that comes out on the channel. And I've decided that I'm going to be doing a massive mega campaign from Imperator all the way through Hearts of Iron 4 once we reach 50,000 subscribers on the channel. So make sure that you're subscribed, and I know that a lot of you are not. And when you subscribe, ding the bell so that way you get notified whenever these videos go up live every week. Apologies in advance for how long this video is going to be. It's going to be pretty hard to like make a concise video with just the sheer amount of details that are on this map. You can see just how many countries there are, and I'm like not even scratching the surface because there's also a lot of formables and stuff like that. And all of them are on a map that is smaller than the 1444 map. So that's pretty crazy as well. Here we have the capital of Bohemia, Prague. And then we zoom out a little bit and you see, oh wait, these are not provinces. These are entire states. There's more states in this mod's Bohemia than there are provinces in vanilla. So something to keep in mind. It is just wild looking through, seeing all of these random enclaves, exclaves, and they are everywhere and they are disgusting. So one like equals one prayer for my PC as we unpause this game and see what kind of damage it is able to do. But before we start, we might as well take a look and see what's going on. We've got Bohemia, Venice, and Burgundy all in the top 3, with Savoy, Milan, the Pope Man, Teutonic Order, and then Styria in the 8th spot, separate from Austria, because this mod actually takes place in 1441, so a couple of years before 1444, if you can do that quick math. I know I'm certainly going to be keeping an eye on what's going on here in central Germany and Bavaria, because there's a lot of random provinces that are owned by various different people, and there should be some consolidation. I'd be surprised if there wasn't. Yo, look at this. I actually found your nation. You, the person watching this right now. Just kidding, lads. I love you. Except for you, Kyle. You're a punk. It also looks like the land that normally would be considered the Papal States in 1444 is also split up quite a bit. We've got Ferrara, Bologna, Fermo is the big guy over here, Spoleto, Orvieto. So there's a bunch of different places that are split off from the Pope, kind of a decentralized version of the Pope, I suppose. Lads, like in vanilla, Corsica is one province. Look at this. This is crazy. This is actual madness. And it definitely looks like a couple of people have popped off. Bohemia is very stagnant, around the mid 500s in development. But how about that Austria and Burgundy? Burgundy's big. Like, of course we have Burgundy, but it looks like they inherited somebody up here. At least I think that this land up here is new to them, but it's there. There isn't a whole lot of development here in central Germany, but up in the lowlands is where a lot of it is. And they've got a lot of land over here in Belgium, apparently. So I assume that that is where a lot of their development came from. And of course, yes, Austria integrated the Styrians. And I think that that is a scripted event. I might be wrong, but that is how they got bigger, like basically double as big. And now they are the big dog in the empire. They are, of course, the emperor with their 355 princes and 71 free cities, gaining a little bit of imperial authority here and there, but not passing any reforms quite yet. And I also didn't show this off either, but the Empire of China is actually the Swiss Confederacy this time around. And it looks like there's actually a lot of them have broken free. There was like 20 some associate members before, but the canton of Bern here is the leader of the Swiss Confederacy. So that's pretty cool. It's honestly pretty wild to think about how accurately some history can be portrayed in games like EU4. But today I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. There are other games in this world that cover iconic history such as this that aren't Paradox titles. For example, one such game is the wonderful game that has brought you this video, March of Empires. It's a strategy game, but it's also an MMO, letting you play with friends to build up a strong alliance to seize control through some seriously nutty battles. And next week, I'll be competing against my buddy Bittersteel to outrank him on stream, so you'll definitely want to stay tuned for that. Whether you want to play as a shogun, a king, a sultan, or a mighty czar, there is a ton to experience in this beautiful medieval experience. You can choose to join forces with your fellow lords and ladies, or you can go out solo, dominating the game on your own. If you're a fan of medieval history, you're going to who love unlocking historical figures such as Halfdan Ragnarsson, Genghis Khan, Joan of Arc, and more. March of Empires lets you improve your war strategy, training your armies, choosing their leaders, and controlling their formations. You're the master of your troops, deciding on battle tactics, how many units to send in the battlefield, and eventually building an unbeatable army. But an empire is not just about war, it's about growth and prosperity. Collect resources and upgrade your bases into unbreachable fortresses. The game requires strategy, effort, and wit, and I know you sweaty min-maxers will thrive in that environment. The game's available on Steam for PC, but it's also on iOS and Android, allowing you to train your troops on your phone while you're bored at the office. And then you get grinding for resources when you get home. We've also got a special something for y'all. The Grand Cavalier event is going on right now for a limited time. This minigame inside of March of Empires lets you compete in jousting, crossbow shooting, and horse racing. But hurry, it's only available until August 12th. So here is the deal. Download the game and vote for me. Join the live stream on August 6th, and together we will show Bittersteel what we're made of while we're taking our place on the throne. Download March of Empires now, and let's start this incredible journey together. Now, the Shadow Kingdom event has fired, and it looks like some people have left, mostly just down here, but namely Savoy and Milan decided to stay in it, so that's probably going to help the Empire in the long term, I think. And the Great Powers list is actually super interesting in this mod because it's very dynamic. You can see that Venice, Milan, and Brandenburg have all passed Bohemia, who was the #1 Great Power at the very beginning. So things are certainly in flux. Burgundy looking to be the first one with over 1,000 development, though you have to keep in mind they do have subjects. But Austria is a massive behemoth over here. For a second, I thought that the Pope was gone, but turns out he's a one province minor here in Roma, so at least he still exists in some capacity. But the rest was all eaten up by Naples and Florence. Florence just ate everybody, for that matter. Sienna's gone. They ate a ton of land over here on the eastern portion of Italy. So yeah, Florence is having a very good run. Not having a good run is Genoa, who has been exiled to Genoa almost exclusively. They have a couple of provinces over here, but it looks like Milan took the rest of that, and then this Asti and then Provence kicked them out a bit as well. So yeah, things are looking a little interesting. We definitely have some consolidation of tags, so that's pretty cool. But Holy Austria, Batman, they ate up almost all of Tyrol and exiled them over here, and they are looking super good, super scary. I can't believe they're being so aggressive. Being the Emperor, usually I feel like they don't expand a whole lot into the HRE, but maybe this mod changes some of that. Hard to say. And continuing the trend of being needlessly aggressive, Burgundy is pushing well into the lowlands, getting a lot of development down here, but they've also pushed south, eating up a ton of land over here in southern France. So Burgundy is definitely having their day as well. Very much still a mess over here in southern Germany, but you can see up in the north, nations like Holstein are doing incredibly well. They're like East Frisia, shout out East Frisia, making some gains and consolidating some local regions. Bremen was actually very big, and then Holstein ate a ton of their land. So this is pretty cool. I like to see this. And Brandenburg is also doing quite well. They've actually head over here and they've taken over Prussia. We might see it. That'd be pretty cool. Quite a bit of happenings going on right now. This mod is actually pretty crazy with how fast things change. The Netherlands has formed without Holland, interestingly enough, and is now getting completely full occupied by Burgundy, who is massive. Holstein continues to absolutely dominate northern Germany with their friends over here in East Frisia. But lads, we have it. We have Prussia. Prussia has formed with that beautiful blue. And even better yet, we have Prussian Prussia over here in Prussia. Love to see it. Moravia doing okay, taking over some land over here, and then looping up around and annexing most of Silesia. So Moravia is kind of like a boomerang shape, giving a big old hug to Bohemia. Interestingly enough, Florence said, "I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark," and they must have lost a war or something, or maybe had some rebels, but they spit out a bunch of little random tags over here. Pisa and this Picmino, then Arezzo, I think, is also a new one. So not looking very good. Not sure how that will affect them in the long term, but not looking good right now, considering the fact that they were massive last time I looked. And yes, of course, if you have a Prussia, that means they are Protestant, and they are indeed Protestant. Bohemia and Moravia also going very Protestant. The rest, not so much. There's a couple of random Protestant boys over here. Lots of Jews over here in the mountains, apparently, in Bavaria / Salzburg, Austria. But yeah, aside from that, very Catholic. Florence, not feeling so good. Florence actually not feeling anything at all, because Florence doesn't exist. This is not them. This is a different nation up here. They were split mostly between Milan and Venice, but it looks like Milan is about to get split between Venice and Naples. So lots of action going on in Italy. And of course, as you can expect it, lots of action going on up in Prussia, with Prussia taking Prussia, but also pushing down into Silesia, because you guys all know that Silesia is rightful Prussian clay. Just like we know that Bavaria is rightful Austrian clay, or at least, you know, straight through the middle, splitting Munich in half. No signs of stoppage on the gore that is going on with the borders over here in southern central Germany, but Mainz is having a very good game. But then, of course, you have to take a look over at Burgundy, because Burgundy is having the game of a lifetime, by far the most powerful nation in the world, though Prussia and Austria, I think, are very much competitive with that. Crazy how much development is going on over here, with Prussia with over 2,200 development, followed by Burgundy with a little over 2,000. Venice is still very competitive as well, actually over Austria, which is surprising to me, but I guess there is quite a bit in Italy. But then Austria, Milan, Moravia, the Netherlands, and then Bohemia still in the great powers list, but boy, have they fallen. Only 350 or so more development than they had in the beginning, and we're almost 300 years in. And the Netherlands being in the 7th spot, I think is probably not going to stay that way, considering the fact that the last 3 times I've checked in, they have been almost full occupied or full occupied. So yeah, probably going to crumble if I had to guess. But the religious map mode is a sight to behold. Protestantism very big over here in the east, and Reformed very popular, but mixed in with a bunch of Protestantism down in the south. Reformed over here, no surprise, kind of that Calvinism, right? But yeah, it's looking pretty interesting. There's also a couple of Jewish nations, like where it is their state religion. You don't ever see that in vanilla. So I'm very happy to see a little bit of variation there, because of course there was Jewish enclaves and stuff like that in you know, medieval Europe. So it's cool to see them represented in this way. And after the rise comes the fall. We have Kaisersberg over here has popped out of Burgundy, as well as Lorraine, as well as Arles, or whatever this is, Basel. And then a big old Prussian Rhineland, which I'm pretty sure I've seen this one before. Yeah, there's also a very big, strong Netherlands. After teasing them for saying that they were going to get annexed, they actually have like better than modern Netherlands borders. So shout out the Netherlands, I guess. Prussia strong. Prussia very, very strong, especially when you consider them next to Bohemia, who used to be a great power, and they're certainly not a great power anymore. Mainz and Munich, however, are, which is pretty cool, and you can see Prussia with almost 7,000 development, a truly wild number considering they were at like 22 last we looked. Austria and Venice makes some sense. The Netherlands got a lot of their cores back from Burgundy, I believe, but Burgundy is just like gone. Burgundy is a 1 province minor down here in Begi, or Bagel, whatever this is. So I think we know Prussia is going to take it all, but the Netherlands and Austria definitely still hanging in there, and Venice is still a great power, as well as Milan. So I'm curious who's going to come out on top from those guys. Also, shout out to Sicilies. Always love to see the 2 Sicilies. Also, taking a look around, I noticed that the Renaissance spawned up here in Milan. Colonialism spawned over here in Corsica, and then global trade spawned over here in Venice, which is pretty cool because the trade map mode is absolutely wild. There is a lot of nodes with a lot of provinces in each of them. Venice over here with 91 ducats in it, which is very respectable, until you come up here to Amsterdam and you see 237. That is a very rich trade node. And as much as it breaks my Prussia boo heart, Prussia did not finish the game on top, or at least they're not on top in the current moment. They very well may still be on top. We'll have to take a look at that. I think the come up kid of the video is Mainz. They start as just a few provinces over here in Franconia, and they are massive. They're very big, and I believe they're a great power. Of course, Moravia over here putting in that work, with Austria actually doing pretty good as well, though they haven't done a whole lot in the last 100 years or so. But we do have a breakaway over here, Aquilia or Aquilalia, I don't know how you pronounce this, but either way, they have broken away from Venice right next to Lombardy, who, what a beautiful country that is, huh? Also, a huge shout out to Genoa, who got back Liguria, even though their capital is still in Corsica. So maybe Corsica would be a better name for this tag, but you know, we'll take what we can get. Roma has fallen to the 2 Sicilies, which is weird because they're still Catholic. So I don't really know why they did that. That seems kind of strange. And I don't even know why I brought Prussia's strength into the question. Of course, they finish on top, almost double the development of Austria, who is an absolute behemoth. But how about Mainz, under 400 development less than Austria, putting them in the 3rd spot? That is impressive. Moravia did well. The Netherlands ended up falling a bit, I believe, but how about Lombardy, forming from Milan, doing well in the 6th spot? 2 Sicilies comes out in the 7th spot, and Arles over in what is formerly Burgundian / provincial lands in the 8th spot. Very cool. We also have a fully stacked economic hegemon for the Dutch, as well as a fully stacked military hegemon over here for Lombardy, but it doesn't actually look like they get any bonuses for military hegemon. It's kind of weird. I don't know what that's all about. And I can't lie, this mod actually ran better than I expected it to. I would say slower than vanilla, but not that slow. But then again, I also have a Ryzen 9 7950X, so my computer can handle it. I was expecting a little bit more of a challenge. If you guys aren't familiar with the modathon, it is ongoing right now, and there are some awesome mods being developed by some really talented modders. You can find links to it in my Discord and stuff like that, and you should just join my Discord anyways, because there's fun community over there. If you want early access to these videos, you can support me on Patreon or click the join button below the video and become one of the homies. Special thanks to ALS Gamer, LeGrand Puba, Gio, Josh Kaczynski, Edge Rhino, Juan Damon, Ian Powell, Cannon Fodder, Corporate Gaming, Anthony Grove, Harry Newhouse, Saranska, Ricardo, Cobalt, Rex, Total Farce for It, Drunk Binary, Nathan Albright, and many more. Thank you. For early access videos, check out the join button or the link in the description below.